All the studies show like the importance of walking and step count. There's loads of studies that correlate step count with health, cardiovascular health. The whole zone it's become quite a phenomenon. They all have benefits, but zone 2 is especially beneficial because it's something sustainable. A lot of people can do it from different ages. There's studies talk about it's a 40-minute walk and how that can have substantial impact on your health.
When I say joining a football club, I don't mean Real Madrid or anything like that.
Come on, man. We're good.
I mean my local kind of like
the skills. Yeah.
Certainly can use a Real Madrid paycheck, as well.
We all do, man.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another video. Today we're going to talk about adventures, escapades, and the healing power of nature. I'm very excited to introduce my guest with me here today. It's none other than my main man, Ibrahim Al-Jeffery. Hi Ibrahim, how are you doing?
I'm good, man. How are you doing, Ahmed?
Yeah, I'm good. Alhamdulillah, everything is fine. I just wanted to say one thing before we kick off with all the good stuff. Ibrahim is a very dear friend of mine. I've known him for many, many years, ever since the university days in Cardiff, Wales. He's a very dear friend of mine, as I just said, and I'm very excited to have him here. This is actually the second podcast that we're doing together. Yeah. We did one a couple of years back. I wanted to ask you, do you remember when the last time that podcast was? Can you imagine?
It's been a while, man. I think it's like 4 or 5 years ago now. Was it before the World Cup or after the World Cup? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was about
4 or 5 years ago.
4 years ago, yeah. 3 years and a couple of long months. It was almost 4 years ago. So
crazy.
And I think, if I was not mistaken, I think I did the first podcast with you on my YouTube channel. So
is it? That's the first one. Damn, nice.
It was a good one. It was about stretching and everything. We were getting into wellness and all. So it was a good recording, and I'm really happy to have you back here. Thanks for taking your time to get in touch and get this the recording underway. So without further ado, let's get started. Please tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and anything that you'd like to say from a wellness point of view. Please tell us, Ibrahim, a bit about that, if that's okay.
Yeah, of course, man. Obviously, so like I started from a wellness point of view. Like I started, doing a lot of. I've been doing a lot of hiking since I was like younger. I did it with my friend for years, obviously I studied civil engineering with yourself. We went to uni together. And we needed kind of like an outlet, like when you go into work 9 to 5, you need something you do in your free time just to kind of get out and about. So we actually did. I was in work and I was working. They did like this 10 peak challenge. I remember it. This is 2016, and a group of people got together and they kind of. They raised money for Macmillan charity, I think it was. So different groups got together. They made their own teams, and we did it. And I did it with my brothers. Me and my brothers work in the same company at the time. And when we did that, just the challenge of it, going for a hike and achieving something that inspired me to kind of start this work that I'm doing right now. I thought, when I was with my friend, let's after COVID, I think it was 2020, after people started going out and leaving their houses, I realized, people need to connect with something more meaningful than what we're currently connecting with. We're on our phones, constantly like, dealing with stimulation. And I felt like hiking and like getting out to nature, walking, traveling was a really good, healthy escape to what we currently doing now. Which is
I remember, especially during that period of time, and after 2020, everyone had like a little bit, enough of COVID. Yeah. Everyone was trapped indoors and willing to get out. And I remember, obviously, as we mentioned, we studied together in uni. I remember from the first few days that I met you, you were a very positive guy. We instantly clicked and became really good
Mm,
friends. And then,
mm,
some things, got into the way of life. I remember I was going through a difficult phase, and then out of the
mm.
blue, I bumped into you in London. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that. It's crazy.
It
Uh,
was a
all
really
people to bump into is you. It's
it
crazy,
was a
man.
really joyful experience because I always thought very well of you, and when I saw you, I instantly felt this like burst of joy, because I hadn't seen you in such a long time. We disconnected for
Mm,
quite a while because
mm,
I got started working, you started working, after uni and everything, and life kind of got in the way, and
mm.
I hadn't seen you in a really long time. Then because as I said, I was struggling with a difficult phase in my life. I saw you and then I was like, oh, it's Ibrahim, what's going on, how you doing?
What's he doing? What's he up to?
I was instantly
I remember.
overjoyed. And
It's funny how I noticed you because you sat right in front of me. And I was like, "Is that Ahmed? It can't be Ahmed." I was literally right in front of you. I
yeah,
think we were there, and I was like, I recognized you from the back. I was like, "Is that?" I was like, "It can't be." And I tapped you. And you're like, "Oh shit!" It was so weird. It was like it's a real experience. So
I
after that, we just
know.
reconnected.
And then
Straight after that, straight away.
we started talking. Again, we got in contact, and we organized a trip to Greece for you to come
That was it.
over, and we had
Yeah,
an amazing time together. And it wasn't the first; it was your first time, visiting Greece. But then, we had such a good time that we organized
yeah,
another two trips. So we did a total of three trips to go,
yeah.
on our adventures
Exactly,
in
exactly.
Greece. And then it's big up to you because you put in the effort, you made it happen. And then there was also a time where you came for to attend my wedding as well. So I think it's been like three or four times where
Yeah,
you've like come
yeah,
over to Greece. So it
yeah.
was
Greece is like second home now.
yeah, second
It feels like say,
your
it feels
brother.
actually. It's funny you say. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say your brother came over like once or twice as well, and we had a blast. So it's good
Yeah,
times, good memories, and hopefully a lot more to
yeah,
come.
yeah. No, it was a good time. I think actually, believe it or not, it's then when we started this project we're doing now. Actually, the whole detox tours that it came, and actually after that, after COVID, right? So it's when I came back to Greece. I think it's 2021 actually when we started,
Yeah,
right? And I remember we went. I think that was my first trip after lockdown. And I remember the airport, how busy it was. Me and my brother were together, and it was rammed, right? It was just like people, we wanted to escape. The first minute when it started opening up and traveling was like permitted, I remember how busy the airport was. Everyone just wanted to leave and to escape, right? And I was like, I realized, man, if people just want, like, traveling so important. Like travel, going, being present, seeing people is so important. So I realized like that was such an important part of like this is what I needed to do after lockdown. Like I just wanted to try. I just wanted to travel for the rest of my life after that. After 2 years of being in lockdown, a lot of people felt the same way. And after going to Greece, Greece was like a charging point. It was a place that we kept going back every year. Always going, reconnecting, and that was it. It was always like reconnection was always like part of Greece. Every time we went to see you, we
yeah,
kept every year. It was like I think we could describe it as recharging our batteries
yeah.
every single
Touching
year
base
after
again.
work. Yeah, we'd go to Greece, we'd go to a few islands, recharge, right, and then come back feeling good again.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, it was good times. We're looking forward to organizing more trips and coming over to
inshallah,
Wales as well.
inshallah,
See
100%,
you guys.
inshallah,
Lots of hopefully,
anytime.
inshallah, lots of things to look forward to. So let's dive in. I want to ask you about, as you mentioned, you have a I don't know if it's a company or it's a hiking community, something you've formulated recently with some people. Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So Detoxtours started as kind of a feeling initially. Right? It was like
So it's called your
we
company,
needed.
the
It's a
group.
company.
It's a
Yeah,
company, yeah.
we're a business, right? And we kind of specialize in hiking, nature retreats, travel, right? But the aim of it is to kind of, you know, help people to kind of reconnect again, right? And just like it's about, escaping our normal lives that we have and taking people to an environment where they feel reconnected, right? Being present, right? So it's we're currently focusing community hikes at the moment. Just we're doing a lot of it is for community charity right now. But in the future, we plan to have different tours around around Wales, around different parts of the UK, and also abroad. And the idea is to get people to reconnect again and be present.
Yeah, awesome. So, where do you organize these hikes? You said is it local areas? Do you guys, is it in? It's in Cardiff, was it, or where was it exactly that you organized some
Yeah.
of these hikes?
So we're based in Swansea, South Wales. So a lot of our hikes and our, like walks are in Wales at the moment. We're focusing primarily on Wales. So we do kind of each month we do like we pick a specific place within Wales, right? And then we organize, we get people together, and again, a lot of these places are kind of hidden gems. We've been doing this, me and my friend, for years, since we were young, 16 years old. We since like Duke of Edinburgh, we'd always kind of meet up and then go for a hike in Wales. So we pick all these spots around Wales and we get people together and we take them.
Awesome, nice. Uh, so, obviously, we're human beings. Ever since, we came into existence, we were exposed to nature and everything. And now it's kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
the modern lifestyle that we have, it's kind of the antithesis of that. Was there a specific moment where you realized the impact that nature had on your life? Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think, especially like since I was young, I remember I lived in the park. I was always out in the park. Like I was always playing football, always out and about, and that was before technology, right? Like I lived like in the 90s, but I grew up in the 90s. It was like
90s
people
kids, huh?
kind of, yeah, nice kid, yeah. So like just everyone used to go out and just go play and knock each other's doors. You're coming out, and people used
No,
to
no
meet up for that, having
PlayStation and
drinks.
Xbox, during that
No,
time.
no, we did at some point, but we were always just out all the time, playing
Yeah.
football, playing games. Like I remember, like my childhood I had a really great childhood because of that, right? So parks and nature. Oh, I've always had a good experience there. It even brings good memories for me. So I always had that when I was young, and as I grew up, I've always been an active person. I was always playing sports, always out and about. So I think as I got older, no, I went to university, I went to start working, and work became sedentary for me. Going to a 9 to 5, commuting to work, sitting in front of a computer screen all day. Something about that was grinding me. I felt it. It was like 3 years, 4 years, and it's like this isn't normal, right? Yeah, you go to the gym, but gym again is indoors, right? We train indoors. We do a lot of our gym stuff, but where it clicked for me, the ports of nature, was after COVID, right? And I think when people were forced into lockdown and people were isolated, people couldn't go out. I think I understood the importance of nature. Something was missing, and nature was the important thing. Going out and like kind of being away from your phone and just kind of going. So I started going for walks by myself. I did a lot of walking during COVID. You couldn't do anything else. Everything was closed, and you really had to go back to basics, right? I went for hours on walking, 2 hours sometimes, just like and that
Wow.
every time I came back, I felt better. I was like, wow, like something about just walking is I feel so much better than if I would have stayed at home, right? Just like
Mm.
scrolling or watching TV, right? So yeah, I think after lockdown, the importance of nature and reconnecting with it and being present, right? I felt like yeah, there's something. And then that's when we started Detoxtours. And like, you know what? Let's make this into a thing. We're onto something. A lot of people are feeling the same way. A lot of people are just like glued on their phones. Don't have like they're not you know they're escaping through the wrong medium, and I think
Mm.
nature is a better medium than your phone. That's
Yeah.
the kind of message we want to send.
So, yeah, I mean, when we say escape, let's delve into that a little bit. What is it that we're, in your opinion, in your experience, that the common person is kind of like escaping today? Is it like, uh, you know, uh, stress, anxiety? Is it more kind of like, fatigue, or from your view and from you, can you tell us as to what it is that we need to go and like kind of like reconnect with, and for what reason?
It's a good question actually. what I think modern life is stressful. Like, working life. Most people, have difficult job, difficult. A lot of people have stressful jobs. What's going on in the news. The cost of living crisis. A lot of people are stressed about a lot of different things: the economy, wars. Like the news.
Mm.
People feel disconnected from social media. Is always kind of making us compare ourselves to other people, and a lot of people become isolated. That's it. Like you feel like just there, and I feel um, again the problem we were trying to solve is that okay, people are isolated, right? And our our modern life, social media, the digital escape platforms, they give us a window, right, into the outside world. But I feel like because we're not part of it and we're not making any effort in to be part of it, we're just kind of getting like this um, kind of this false dopamine effect, right? So that's why the whole
Mm.
point. That's the whole digital, dopamine detox came, where
Yeah, I
it's
understand
like
now.
you're making an effort. You're making effort. Hiking is an effort to go towards the pinnacle, right? You're physically going somewhere. You wake up in the morning. You're connecting with people. You're reconnecting with nature, right? And you're physically doing something that requires effort, and there's an achievement. There's a goal at the end. You hit. You climb a
Mm.
peak, right? Our modern life, we don't get I feel like we don't get a good, healthy outlet for our stressful lives, right? You have a lot of stressful life in our life, but I feel like our phones and um, the social media and what that provides is like it gives us like a false escape. It's not
Mm.
really an escape that we really need. It's like a mirage, nearly, right? You think it's water, but by the time you get there, it isn't really water, right?
Yeah, that's a
So
very good analogy, actually. I really like that. And think I can, tell from my point of view, especially during COVID, uh, we were kind of like, I was, very kind of afraid of like getting the illness. And so I kind of had myself trapped indoors, and that really kind of like hit my mental health because especially in the tiny apartment that I had, yeah, we were just kind of like suffocating from like that
mm,
experience, and so
yeah,
it kind of goes to
yeah,
show you how we really need to be connected with nature as human beings, and it's part of our physiology. It's just
yeah, yeah.
the way that we're made up. We're not made to be living in concrete spaces, and
Exactly.
like,
100%. We're not guinea
yeah,
pigs. Feel like when they're like in a cage sometimes, the zoo. Like we're not
yeah.
supposed. A lion isn't supposed to be in a cage, right? It's supposed to be out in the wild, and it's
Yeah,
sad seeing a lion in a cage just eating food, and he's trapped in a small box.
yeah. So, we talked a bit about, maybe let's say the mental kind of health benefits of like, getting out and about and reconnecting with nature. What about this might be a little bit of a kind of, it might be the answer to this question might be a bit obvious, but I want to hear from you because you've organized these tours for quite some time now. What are kind of like the physical health benefits that you get from like going on to these hikes, like can you give us a bit
Mm.
of your insight about that?
Well, there's a lot of physical benefits. I'm no doctor or medical expert, but like all the studies show like the importance of walking and step count. There's loads of studies that correlate step count with health, cardiovascular health. It strengthens bone, muscle, all these things, right?
Mm.
Especially in particular, so walking is already very good for you. Step count, research done on step count, and and like kind of slow zone 2 movement, right,
Mm.
or zone 2 walking, right. There's a lot of
Yeah, so
benefits of like a
I remember
slowing.
we had a discussion about that once. Can you tell us about these different zone kind of like movements? Because the people that I kind of talk to sometimes are struggling with chronic health issues, right? And
Yeah,
we all
yeah,
know the benefits of exercise when you go hit the gym or you go for a
mm,
jog or run or something like
mm,
that. But some people
mm,
they don't have that kind of like ability to exercise at that level. And I remember talking to you. You mentioned to
mm,
me about these kind of like different categories of exercise and how
yeah.
they impact your health. Please, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so like the whole zone, it's become quite a phenomenon. It's been quite a trend recently. Zone 2 training and zone 2 walking. So like the zones are different. Like I think uh, your
Different.
heart rate, basically how fast it pumps, and the higher the zone, the more intense it is, right? Summarize it. So like so if zone 1 is the lowest, the simple kind of just simple movements downstairs and walking. Like zone 2 is a bit higher pace, and zone 3 is a light jog, and then zone 4 is a fast sprint, and then 5 is a full on 100-meter sprint. Your maximum capacity. Yeah. So all those zones have the benefits, right? High intensity workouts, hit training, kind of focus on zone 4 or 5, maybe, and then kind of you can go for slower, longer jogs. Zone 3, they all have benefits, but zone 2 is especially beneficial because it's something sustainable. A lot of people can do it from different ages. So zone 2 is basically a brisk walk, right, where you can walk for a sustained period of time, and you can have a kind of a conversation with somebody. So it's slow enough where you can have a conversation with somebody and talk over the phone without you feeling,
Without losing
you're
your
taking too many
breath. Yeah.
breaths. Yeah, without losing your breath, right? So zone 3 would not be considered, because as a jogger, you need to kind of get your breathing rhythm right. So the good thing about zone 2 is that you can do it sustainably every single day if you want to, right? You can do it any time of the day. You don't need to have special gear. You can just go and for a 40-minute walk. There's studies talk about this, a 40-minute walk, and how that can have substantial impact on your health is phenomenal, right? And how actually just how it helps your core, your posture when you go for a walk.
I suffer from that poor posture. I'm working
Yeah,
on
yeah.
it.
Everyone suffers from it. Every simple who sits down in a chair for long periods of time suffers from it. So it's a chronic thing that modern society experiences. So walking is a good way to kind of rebalance yourself, strengthen your core. So be conscious when you're walking to kind of get engage your core, twist your
Yeah,
hips, and
use the different
get full
muscles.
range of movement even when walking, right? So yeah, zone 2 is really important. Something that everyone can do, and it's because it's over a longer time. You can do up to an hour walk. Your body starts using like your fat reserves rather than the kind of the quick fuel that it gets. And that's something that it's linked to kind of weight loss. Long walks, long periods of walks, higher step counts is direct proportion to kind of weight loss. So if you know people who want to lose weight, I would always encourage them go for a long walk, and keep it consistent as much as you can.
I need to do that as well because I was in Saudi for quite some time, and you know how life like is in Saudi Arabia
Yeah,
when especially when
exactly.
you're working in the
Yeah,
construction industry. I was working for 6 days a week, 60 hours. I gained a lot of weight, and now I'm in. I'm not very proud of myself at all because I'm out of shape, and I'm putting the steps in again, and I'm trying to get more kind of like intense workouts into my daily routine, joining a football club and everything.
nice.
When I say joining a football club, I don't mean Real Madrid or anything like that.
Come on, man. We know good. I remember
I
you
mean
back
my
in the day.
local kind of
Playing
like
the skills, top of
yeah.
shoulder. I remember. Right, if Real
So
Madrid is watching now, like this guy, he's pretty good.
what's
So
that? Sorry, I
it's
missed
just
that.
if anyone Real Madrid is watching, any scouts, right?
Yeah, they're scouting people out.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
check
interested.
check Ahmed out.
Yeah, certainly can use a Real Madrid paycheck, as well.
We all do, man.
So these durations of the hikes that you're going, what are the typical spans of these durations that you're doing? How long are they?
So it's a good point that you mentioned that. So we're doing one now in Snowdon, right? So that's one of our biggest ones. So Snowdon is the biggest peak in Wales, right? We're
Okay.
planning to do it for July, and typically like for a peak like that, it's quite it would take maybe uh, 5 hours there and back again with enough breaks. But then a typical one, a smaller one. So the ones we do like in Penavan and
Sorry, I missed that. Did you? How long was it? How long did you say?
so back and forth, it might take all day. So to get to the peak, it might take 2 hours, right? And then back again, another two
Okay.
hours. So it's like, typically, like let's say for a normal hike, you're expecting a few hours, like walk to the pinnacle, right? Depending on them, obviously you have different mountains and different like areas. So Brecon, for example, Penavan, um, that will take I think 2 hours to get to the top. Like maybe an hour and a half, depending on the breaks you take, and then obviously you go back down again. So the uphill, going uphill obviously is harder because it's you're physically you're going on an incline, right? But then down when you go downhill, you also be careful and make sure that you're kind of really careful watching your steps. You don't kind of strain your knees. A lot of people I'd recommend if they're older to kind of get with these hiking sticks to make sure when they're going downhill they're not kind of slipping and falling. That's probably the biggest risk with hiking, and going downhill and watching your step when you go on a decline.
Yeah. Okay. So another question: how we've talked about like the mental and physical health benefits. We've touched upon them a little bit.
Mhm.
How often do you think people should kind of like go on hikes to absorb all of these benefits that we've been talking about?
Good question. Like again, that's all. Again, that's all depends on the person. Like we're trying, like it depends how your fitness level. It depends on your time. A lot of people don't have the time to go on a hike, and it takes all day. Like the hikes that we typically do, we start at 10 in the morning, we finish around 2 o'clock, right? I mean, sometimes 3, right? So
Mm.
it's like you kind of have to book all day for that, and then once you go home, you're a bit exhausted, right? You want to have food, shower, you
Mm.
can't have days taken up for that. So we're starting off at least once a month would be nice. Like if we encourage everyone to do a once a month hike, that's really beneficial, right?
Really?
Now,
Okay, that's great.
yeah, yeah, once a
Sign
month would
me
be
up.
ideal. If you can do yeah, if you can do once every 2 weeks, even better, right?
Okay, okay, that's good because I've never really done a lot of hiking before.
Mm,
I'm into health and wellness, but I always grew in the suburbs of cities and in Greece, growing up as a kid, like there's lots of greenery and stuff like that. But we never actually got into the habit of like doing organized hikes. And I think there's a lot of merit in them and things like that. So I'm looking forward to taking the opportunity when I can with my family here or my friends to go on these hikes. Because in Greece is. I'm not saying it's because I've lived here my whole life.
yeah,
It's one of the most beautiful countries I've ever
I
seen,
know.
and there's
I've been
plenty
there.
of places where you can actually do hikes. But like, it's not. I don't know if it's very common here. There's definitely lots of trails and lots of like
Yeah.
places where people do these things.
Mm,
But for me personally, I never really got exposed to doing organized
mm.
hikes. So yeah, I would be looking forward to doing one maybe when you come on your next trip here to
Yeah, yeah.
Greece.
Oh, when you come to Wales, man, we'll take you to one of ours here at some point.
Yeah,
Have you studied in Wales? You know it, so we'll take you
100%,
to some
no
gems around
doubt.
there. And again, so the hikes, we don't have to necessarily. It doesn't have to be a hike up a mountain, right? Like a walk is fine. So we've done coastal walks as well, where we've taken people on a walk. That's not a hike, but it's a kind of coastal path.
Hmm.
And it's a coastal area, so you get to see the beaches. It's a nice walk, and some slight decline, incline, but they're not that much. It's not necessarily. It doesn't have to be a mountain, right? It can be a coastal walk. It can be a path, right? It can be like a water. We take people to waterfalls, right? Like these, like kind of
That's awesome.
areas where so the most important thing is a walk, and it's out in nature. These are two elements that makes it more impactful. And it's community based as well.
That's what I
People are
was.
coming.
That was going to be
Yeah.
my next
Mm.
question. Actually, what role do you think does community play in this wellness kind of a habit?
So it's so important, man. Like we're social creatures. Humans are social creatures. Obviously, COVID like made that apparent when everyone was isolated. People felt something was missing, right? And it was community, social connection, right? Well, good thing about hiking is that it brings people together, right? And you talk with people, you get to meet people, right? And you have really interesting. You see the conversations people get, and then people make friends from that community, especially if it's a regular thing, right? So community is so important because you're connecting with people. We need that. It's really important that we don't get isolated. A lot of people are going to their jobs, going back home, and that's it. That's their life. They don't connect with anyone. right? And that has a huge that effect on people's mental health, man. Like it's not normal for us to be isolated for that long. Since the dawn of time, people with communities, tribes, and they were much more interconnected than we are now. So we're hiking when you go with a group of people, you get that kind of you get that social connection. You meet people, you talk, you have interesting conversations with people. You meet like-minded people, right? From different age groups, young, old, and that is a part of it. It's like you're not just connecting with nature; you're connecting with people again. You're connecting with with yourself again. Like you're doing things that you know typically you wouldn't normally do, and you experience something about yourself that you wouldn't normally experience, right? Like you wouldn't
Absolutely right.
realize that you're able to do such a thing. Like a lot of people think, oh, I can't do that, it's too difficult for me. But then actually when they go with a group of people and they do it, like, oh, actually I did that pretty well. I'm actually impressed with that. I can actually do a
Yeah, and the
hike
thing is that
that
sometimes people might be a bit reluctant on doing
yeah,
it's like joining a spin class in the gym or doing a
yeah,
Zumba kind of whatever. I don't even know what Zumba is, but I know that my wife's interested in it.
yeah,
It's but it's like
yeah,
it's a community thing, like
yeah.
and you kind of encourage each other, you inspire each other, you
Mm,
motivate each other. There's a community aspect embedded in it, which makes it really, really fruitful from both,
yeah,
not just like a physical, from an emotional point of view as well. And, a lot of people need emotional support. So the next question I wanted to ask you is that, like, do you think that in this day and age that loneliness is becoming an increasing kind of problem? And what can you do you think that exposing people to this kind of like outlet is an effective way of treating this problem?
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's good. It is. As I mentioned before, like our modern lives, it kind of is very individualistic focused, right? Everyone's thinking about his own career, making money. Like there's everyone's very self focused, right? And it's the first time in human history we went that route a lot. Before naturally we're tribal, we're social creatures, so it's actually not the norm to be isolated that long. So a lot of people are experiencing that because of social demands, work demands. Some people don't have the time to socialize anymore, right? Once they some people once they have families and they have their job, that's it. They don't really have time outside of that, right? So yeah, the like the importance of connecting again, reconnecting with people, right? And and doing these activities, especially because they they kind of not just encourage you, but it motivates you. Ever since we've been doing this, so many people message us online, like they want to. When's the next one? They get hooked
Really,
on it. There's
that's
honestly like
resounding. Very nice.
yeah, the amount of people that message us and tell us, like, oh, when's the next one? When's the next? Like, we've done one, like we did it, and then it's like I said, people just like we want it soon. They want because they've been once and they just felt like there's one person that obviously I won't say their name, but like she's living alone. Like she's like she's been working for so long. She doesn't have family, right? And she's
No,
older, right?
that's
And she lives by herself.
mm,
Her experience of these hikes these hikes are emotional support for her. Like this is she feels part of something with us, right? When usually she just goes home by herself, goes to work and back, and she doesn't have anyone, right? She doesn't have family. She doesn't have she might have one or two friends, but abroad. But she's currently in where
I
she is in
see.
South Wales by herself. So having a sense of community, something you belong to, and it gives you a sense of belonging. Oh, I'm in part of the hike group. She's part of something, and there's like we're doing it for a good cause. So there's a charity, there's a purpose to it. It's not we're not just doing it for no reason. We're doing it where people feel that they've made an impact, right? So not only have they struggled and they've strived to
Strived.
reach this peak, right? There's a
Exactly.
struggle element because hiking isn't easy. You're going uphill. It's tiring. Sometimes you want to take breaks. You wake up in the morning just to go, just to go up a mountain. Like a lot of people, when they wake up in the morning, they don't want to do that initially, right? So, but once they do that and they go through all the struggle and then they go do it together and they go to the pinnacle, and they've raised money. Like each of our hikes is that we encourage people to donate to a cause, and to remember that people are struggling more than they are, right? So when they reach the top, not only have they reached a goal where they've earned it, like they've a challenging goal and they reach a pinnacle, but they've also helped someone. They've reached a goal in reaching, supporting communities who are struggling, right? Who don't have what they have, right? So it has a compounding effect because it's community based, connecting with nature, and then there's like you're doing something that's physically challenging. It's a good reward. It's a healthy source of dopamine where you've physically done something difficult and achieved it, and also you've raised money to help somebody else. People feel absolutely
It's a
great
win-win
after it. People
situation.
Yeah, it's such a win, and it's so simple. It's free. Like we
Mm.
don't charge anything from these hikes. Anyone can go for a hike. We don't want to make someone pay to go take on a hike, right? And anyone can go. You can go right now, go for a walk, and it's free. We want to make it so. But we want to make it like,
That's
what,
very good of you. And
you give something because this is free. You give something else. You should be so grateful that you're connected with nature, and you also, from a spiritual point of view as well, right? You're connecting with what God has created, right? So you're looking at this beautiful landscape, oxygen, birds flying. Like this is what God has created. Like you're connected with your purpose as a human being as well, right? This is and it makes you more spiritual. It makes you like, and all the problems you have, it kind of reduces its significance a bit because you actually think yourself, wow, this whole career, you're such a small part of it. Your worries nearly like melt away. So it reduces anxiety a lot because you remember your purpose. You remember actually, you know, like your purpose in this life. It's like, and there's a higher power out there. And you need, as you walk with nature, you kind of surrender yourself to that. You surrender yourself to the good because all of this stuff around you, it wasn't from you. Like Allah
yeah,
created this. God
yeah.
created. We know, we understand that, right? But like when you see it around you, you're like, wow, this is all my worries. I think I'm worried about trying to change when actually God is control of everything. Right? These rivers, that birds,
Uh,
all in God's hands, right? So there's an even important part, a spiritual dimension. So and you kind of and the God tells us that, in the Quran, Allah tells, look at the bird, look at the mountains. He always references things that we see in a day-to-day basis, trees, rivers, mountains, because these things were done without you even being born. You had no effect, and they're functioning without you. So imagine your life, right? When you think about these things, that the worries that you have, so
it
there's a
kind of all
spiritual
melts
dimension as well.
away in the end of the day, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when you connect with all these magnificent things that you've just cited, you kind of like forget about all your worries and you kind of like, surrender to this like higher power and
Exactly.
you get absorbed in it and it's transformational, I think, from my point of view.
So transformational. I'm telling you now, if you have that with that intention, hiking is not just something just you. It becomes nearly like a spiritual training. Like if you go with that intention, I'm going to go and just experience it and be grateful. Like I'm going to practice gratitude by walking and just looking at everything around me and just thanking God in my life, right? And that is so powerful because now you are in a state of gratitude. Now you're a state of like in awe of the divine now, and you're like, this, all this we have is just like, it's amazing, it's beautiful, right? How beautiful is the created, like it changes your thinking completely, right? And you appreciate the small things, and you come home, you're like, man, like my worries doesn't mean anything anymore. Whatever worries you have,
Yeah,
like, oh my, I can't believe
fantastic.
I was even stressed about that, right? Like you're like, wow, like when you, because it kind of, it reminds you of the bigger picture. I think it's probably the best way to describe it. It reminds you of the bigger picture, I think, and
Brilliant,
a lot
man.
of people need that these
Absolutely
days.
brilliant. So, okay, I've got a question for you. What is the most
Mm.
memorable hike that you've had, or the one that you've ever organized so far?
Um, I think the four waterfalls was my the most important. The reason for that is that we raised an important milestone in for achieving like um, a financial goal target for our campaign. So I think we raised over, I think it was 5,000, 6,000 pounds. That was the first time we went past that peak, and we all got together, and it was a beautiful day. Everyone was like, it was 20, I think 20 or 30 odd people. I can't remember how many people it was, but we met a lot. That hike, I feel like I understood the power of this. I think that the feedback we got from people, the like how much people enjoyed it, and the kind of like the bonding people got. And after that, every single time I'd go somewhere, and go, oh, are you from Detoxtours? Oh, when's the next hike? We even get recognized now. Me and my friend, we're like, people, they love it so much. They're always like, when's the next? Because we've built something important. Like, we've built community,
Yeah.
right? And I think
Where's my
that's when I
invite, man?
understood how
I
good.
want in.
Yeah, come, man. Listen, anytime, fam. Anytime. Just
Thank
send me location. Send
Yeah, send me
location.
the location.
Come.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I can't, you've got me hyped now. I'm psyched. I can't, because, um, amongst, the West, people are really big on hikes. I know people in other places like Australia and New Zealand,
Mm,
and America, people really like hikes. We're in the kind of background that I was kind of like raised in. It's more kind of like Mediterranean kind of like vibe. I don't think people are as big on it here as they are in the
mm,
places that I've just mentioned. But
mm,
now I'm really like excited to give it a crack.
mm,
I've done hikes before, but I never really put myself in the mindset of like why am I actually doing this?
mm-hmm,
I've tagged along here and there, but I think when you kind of like understand understand it for what it actually is, and when you put that effort and make
mm,
try to achieve something out of it, it becomes like transformational, like we mentioned before.
mm.
So
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward actually to going on my next hike. um
Yeah, man. And you're invited to one in Wales anytime, man. Our next one, we've got one left in July. Obviously, it depends if you can make it or not. But we every month we'll announce
yeah.
it on our Instagram page where we can have it. And anytime,
Mm,
just send me a message, and we'll
brilliant.
take it a
Khalas.
private one, a
I'm
private just for
signing
you.
up in advance. Okay, to finish this off, I'm gonna have some quick fire questions for you.
Mm.
So here we go. Sunrise hike or sunset hike?
A sunset hike, I'd say. Yeah,
Sunset hike.
yeah, yeah.
Any
I was about to
particular?
say sunrise. I was about to say sunrise. Difficult one because sunrise hike. The reason why sun is difficult as a hike because before sunrise is dark, so you want people to see, right? So like it's difficult to unless you can't go at night. It's really difficult to do sunrise because you got to go nearly like in pitch black darkness. A bit dangerous, right? Sunrise, I feel a sunset. I feel like you kind of achieved something when it's set. You've achieved the pinnacle and you finished the day like that, and it's on a
Good way
peak. So I feel like it's more
to
appropriate.
finish it off with a cherry on top.
Yeah. I feel like you've done something, and like the whole day. Obviously, you walk in a day, good lighting condition. I'm thinking from like a obviously safety point of view. Like people do sunrise hikes,
Hmm.
but I prefer sunset because it's like it's more you go there, you enjoy the day, you finish off the day with achieving something, a mountain or walk, whatever, and then the day finishes.
Brilliant, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Okay, mountains or forests?
Mountains.
Mountains, huh? Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I was about to say forest, but mountains, I think has a special, for me, has a special fit because a, a mountain, there's no shortcuts to a mountain. No, like there's only one way up. Whether and it's
There you
you know what I
go.
mean. It's like you can't take a shortcut. There's only one way up, and it's a struggle to get there. And reaching a pinnacle of a mountain, it's like for me, it's the way I see conquering a goal. I have in my phone, yeah, a picture of a mountain always to remind me that any goal I want to achieve, I need to take it one step at a time. And there's no shortcuts to it. Slow and steady wins the race. You got to walk in that direction. Sometimes it's going to be a bit of
Inspirational.
struggle. Sometimes it's going to be hard, and it's a incline. But the peak, the view at the top is worth it. So that's why mountains for me is
Yeah.
more fun.
Brilliant, man. Brilliant. Very brilliant. Very nice. So I think I know your answer to this one, but I have to ask it anyway. Solo hiking or group hiking?
I used to solo hike a lot. I'll be honest with you. When I
Oh,
was before all of this, I used to do a lot of solo hiking. I love solo hiking because you feel that presence more. You know that spiritual, reconnection. I know and escaping. For me, uh, I actually prefer solo, right? Because I
okay.
just love
That
yeah.
wasn't what I thought, but
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, for me. But if it's for something higher than me, because I think with Dito, it's not about me, right? It's about something more,
I
right? That's
see.
why we do a lot of community, and if it's for something higher, it's community. So it's like if I was selfish and I want to do it for myself, I'll do it. I prefer
I
solo,
see.
right? Me personally, right?
Makes sense.
But for a lot of other people, community is so much more because it brings people. It's more about bringing people together and you feel for some people need it more than others. They need community. I grew up in a big family. I'm one of nine. I grew up huge
MashaAllah.
family. So for me,
MashaAllah.
yeah, I already had community. I know what community like. We have a big family, so I for me my relaxation and therapy is being solo, having some time away, and just be by myself and just So that's why it's important for me. But yeah, for other people who don't have that, don't have big families and who don't, who might not, who might be living alone, I definitely recommend community. Thanks.
Uh, one wellness hab. Oh, hang on. Best lesson that nature has ever taught you.
Mm,
So that might be a
that's a
difficult
hard one.
question.
Mm, best lesson
I didn't.
nature has ever taught
I
me.
didn't tell
That's
you
a good
this was all
question,
gonna be
but
hunky
yeah,
dory.
yeah, no, it's a good question. It's challenging me, right? It's challenge, right? Challenge is good. That's the whole point of Detoxtours challenge. So I think the best lesson, I think you have to be cautious with it. It's raw, it's powerful. Like I we spend a lot of time, honestly, like checking weather conditions, checking the route, planning it, and making sure it's safe because you can't take risks with nature. Like, you can't. Like, you might go a waterfall, people are having fun, and one slip,
Mm,
and it's dangerous, right? It's raw, it's beautiful, but it's also dangerous. Nature can be cruel. That's my most important
mm.
lesson. It's not. It's you appreciate it, you love it, but it's a force of nature. As I see people
Force of
say, force of
nature,
nature.
yeah.
It's not something you take lightly. Yeah, it's not something you can just go
Mm.
by forest by yourself. That's one of the reasons actually why I actually stopped going solo hike as much because I used to go in very dangerous hikes by myself. No one knew about it. At 10 in the morning in the middle of nowhere, mid Wales. I'd drive 2 hours
Oh
to go to a
wow.
place by myself. I'd love it. It's selfie. Like
I
I
get
get to
it,
see
yeah.
something so unique and so amazing, but it's dangerous. Let's say if I broke my leg and something happened to me, no one like I'm in the middle of a forest.
Yeah.
No one's there. Like there's no one there. I went to a hike once where I went 10 in the morning. I woke up really early. I drove right there just by myself. By myself. I went to this secluded forest with a river. It's beautiful, right? I was like, wow, if something happened to me now, no one would know where I am. I might find my body in 2 or 3 days, but like you have to think like that,
Yeah.
like it's and I think a lot of people who like nature, they don't understand that actually it's a huge risk. Like it's
It
nature is not
is.
something even
I
if
saw
it's
a
a war. Yeah,
recent sad story on Instagram actually. I don't want to mention it now, but nature can be
yeah,
really, it's the
yeah,
force of
yeah.
nature, like we said. You can't take everything for granted. Yeah, always be safe. Always, tell your friends where you're and your family where you are and all this. I mean, of course, for you, growing up, it's part of life where you kind of like, learn things on your own sometimes. But yeah, no, very important. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm.
One wellness habit you think everyone should adopt is
Walking. I mean,
walking.
let's be obvious here. Yeah, just go for a walk. Even in the evening or in the morning. Sometimes an evening walk is perfect. If you can't sleep, go for a walk. If you feeling stressed, a nice walk, 30 minutes. Changes. Even if it's
Yeah.
around the block, it doesn't need to be. Again, walking doesn't need to be around nature. You can go around the block. I sometimes walk around my block, right? Just
Mm.
even
I
so
do that
that's
too.
still beneficial. Yeah, still beneficial.
Yeah, yeah. So, this is the last one now. what would you like to leave, as a message to our viewers today? What would you like to tell them if there's one thing that you could tell them?
I tell them this. If I ask you, for example, a simple question, right? Uh, if if you saw somebody taking a picture from a pinnacle, right? Does it matter if they did it themselves or not?
Hmm.
I'm gonna ask you a question now. I'm gonna reverse it to you now, right? So does it make a difference if someone took a picture of a mountain and you know whether he didn't do it or did it? Does it make a
Hmm.
difference them physically doing it? And a lot of people will say no. So you can technically go to a
I was
pinnacle
gonna.
of Mount Everest and take a picture of it. Like some people have already taken pictures, and you can say, "Look, I've shared," and share it to your friends. Like, "Wow, this view is amazing, incredible." But it, if it's not, if you didn't do it, it doesn't have the same meaning. You understand?
Yeah, yeah, I get you.
Like for the picture to be meaningful, you have to physically have went there yourself, struggled with Mount Everest, whatever mountain it
Achieved
is, right?
something. Yeah.
And achieved it, and then taken a picture of it, and then you shared it yourself to your friends. That picture has more value to your friends than if you just went online, because online you can take a picture that's more beautiful, right? You can take a picture, there's better cameras out there. There's some photographers taking right nice scenic pictures from the top from a helicopter. It's not the view that matters, right? It's the effort required in doing it that matters, right? And I
Yeah.
think we live in a society where our modern our modern phone, social media nearly tricks us to thinking we've done something. Like you
Mm.
might go online and think that you've done all these like stuff, but you think watching is participating. A lot of people might be watching this like, oh, they like a post or like someone's travel video, or they watch something online and they watch all these things online, and they think by liking and watching they participate in it. Your brain tricks you thinking that you've participated when you haven't done anything, right?
Yeah.
So the beauty of like effort and struggling to do something, to achieve
Striving
something, is
towards
so important.
something.
Yeah, striving to undoing an action,
The whole
conquering a
the whole
mountain.
journey
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, yes, it's the journey that matters the most. It's the journey behind that picture that is more meaningful. That's what gives it value, right? So it's like,
Mm.
and that's the whole point of like nature, of what we're doing. That we're trying to encourage action. Like, there's no shortcut to going up a mountain. You can't. There's no easy way out. There's no lift, right? You've got to walk there one step at a time. It's a struggle. Sometimes it's tiring, but you got to achieve. There's a goal at the end, right? And that action has lots of benefit, that overcoming that challenge in that way, and training yourself to overcome challenges in everyday life. You're always going to face a mountain in your life, whether that's in your marriage, your work, whatever
The
experience you're
same
going
rule
through. It's the
applies. Yeah.
same. It's the same principle.
Mm.
You've got to take it one step at a time. You've
You've
got to
got to
be
put the
patient.
steps in. Let's say that.
Yeah, you got to put the steps in, and that's how I finish it. You got to put the steps in. So that's how
Brilliant,
I
absolutely
conclude that.
brilliant. Okay, Ibrahim, I just want to, I'm really thrilled. Thank you so much for coming today. Please tell us where we can find your company, Detoxtours, and if there's any final message that you'd like to drop off with us to let people know when your next hike is or where we can find you. Please let us
Yeah,
know, and I'll if you have any links, I'll make sure to pop them by
yeah.
in the
Thanks,
description
man.
box below.
Cool, man. Yeah, just follow us on Detoxtours. We post our updates on there where we're going, so we're
On
quite regular
Instagram,
and
most
on
commonly.
Instagram, yeah. So follow us on Instagram, but our best way, get in contact with us, and yeah, we kind of post regularly on what our next events are, our next hikes are, and our retreats. But yeah, thanks for having me, and yeah, we'll connect soon, and we'll invite you, man, to Wales, whenever you want, man. Just
Yeah,
send location,
I'm
let me
gonna
know,
hold you to it, man.
and I want no,
I'm
100%.
coming.
I'm genuinely, look, honestly, we'll show you it for yourself. I want you to experience it yourself, because all of this talk I'm saying, it means nothing if I don't mean what I say, right? You'll experience it yourself, you'll see it, yeah, and then hopefully, hopefully it might be in your next video, right? It's like, I actually
Yeah,
beat this mountain, I've done it, I've done this, right?
without the
We
shadow of
haven't
a
just talked
doubt.
about it, we've done action. Yeah,
Absolutely
cool.
inspirational. I mean, thank you so much for sharing all that with us. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to having you on here again and sharing your experiences with us. One of my best mates, by the way, Ibrahim Al-Jeffery, talking right here. My name is Kasim. Thank you so much for
Nice, man.
watching.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Peace. Cheers, man.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye,
Bye bye.
bye.